The arena was enormous. Towering metal walls stretched high into the sky, reflecting the pale light of 3 suns. Thousands of spectators from dozens of planets filled the stands, their voices mixing into a deafening roar. Flags and banners waved everywhere, each representing a different species, and holograms displayed the fighters entering the arena. Arya Kellen walked slowly through the entrance tunnel. Her boots clicked against the metal floor. She felt calm, but alert. Around her, other fighters were huge, muscular, and clearly trained for combat. Many had scales, extra limbs, or armor-like skin. She was human, small, and unarmed. A voice over the arena speakers boomed, "Next, the humans. They say your species fights with guns and technology. Can a human stand without them?" Laughter and jeers filled the air. Aliens in the crowd waved their claws or tentacles, mocking her. Some shouted, "Pathetic!" and "They will fall fast." Arya kept her eyes forward. She had heard this before. Humans were underestimated everywhere. And she liked it. There was power in being underestimated. It gave her the chance to prove them wrong. Her trainer, an older human named Captain Lorne, leaned close. "Remember, Arya, size and strength mean nothing here. Use your mind. Watch, move, and strike with speed. That's how humans survive." Arya nodded. She had trained for this moment her whole life. Martial arts, acrobatics, and tactical thinking were her tools. She did not need guns or armor to fight. She needed her wits, her body, and her instincts. The 3 opponents waiting in the arena were intimidating. The first, a broad alien with gray skin and 4 arms, flexed and cracked his knuckles. The second, taller than a human by twice her height, had scaly skin and sharp, jagged teeth. The third was a muscular biped with long claws and a reptilian tail. All 3 stared at her with contempt. The arena doors opened, and Arya stepped onto the sandy floor. The heat from the 3 suns made the ground shimmer. She felt every eye on her. The crowd expected her to fail. That was fine. She could work with that. The announcer spoke again. "No weapons. No technology. Pure combat. Humans, show us what you have." Arya assumed a simple stance, feet apart, hands ready, eyes on her opponents. The aliens grinned, confident in their size and strength. They circled her slowly, testing her reaction. The first alien lunged with all 4 arms. Most beings would panic, but Arya stayed calm. She bent her knees and stepped aside, letting his momentum carry him forward. Using her opponent's weight, she tapped him in a joint, and he stumbled without realizing it. The crowd gasped. The second alien charged, snapping its jagged teeth like a predator. Arya waited. Then, with a twist of her body, she sidestepped and used a quick sweep to trip its long legs. It fell with a loud crash. The spectators from that alien's planet shouted in anger. The third opponent growled and swung its long claws toward her head. Arya ducked under, rolled forward, and delivered a precise strike to a pressure point. The alien froze, then fell to its knees. She had barely moved, yet all 3 were already off balance. The crowd went silent for a moment, then murmurs and whispers spread. How? How is she doing that? Arya did not stop. Her mind was a calm machine, calculating every move. She watched for weaknesses, timed her strikes, and used agility over brute force. Each opponent was bigger, stronger, and faster than a human could usually handle, but humans had something different. Strategy, adaptability, the will to survive. As the fight continued, Arya moved like water. She flowed between attacks, dodged, parried, and countered with quick precision. Every step, twist, and strike was efficient. She did not waste energy. She used the environment, the sandy floor, the walls, even the shadows to her advantage. The first alien tried again, swinging all four arms at once. Arya jumped, twisting midair, and landed behind it. A sharp tap on its back joint sent it sprawling forward. It hit the ground hard, but was still conscious, shaking its massive limbs in frustration. The second alien roared and lunged with its tail. Arya grabbed a small piece of debris from the floor and kicked it toward its face, startling it. In that split second, she rolled forward and tapped another pressure point. The alien fell, motionless for a moment, then struggled to rise. The third alien hissed and swung its claws in a wide arc. Arya ducked, slid under its legs, and stood up behind it. With one precise strike, it staggered and fell onto the sand. By now, the crowd was on its feet. The aliens had underestimated humans, and Arya was proving them wrong. Whispers turned into shouts. Spectators from other planets began cheering. Humans were supposed to be weak without their weapons. Yet here she was, controlling the fight without fear. Captain Lorne watched from the sidelines. His eyes shone with pride. "This is what I trained her for," he muttered. "Humans are not just survivors. They are clever, fast, and unstoppable when they trust their instincts." Arya stood in the center of the arena, breathing evenly. Her opponents were rising slowly, bruised, but not defeated. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and smiled faintly. This was only the beginning. They had doubted her. They had doubted humans. But soon, the galaxy would know. The announcer spoke again, voice trembling with excitement. "Incredible. The human she fights like no other species we have ever seen. Can she keep going?" Arya's eyes glinted. She nodded slightly. The fight was far from over, and she intended to show the galaxy exactly what humans could do without guns, without technology, using only skill, strategy, and the indomitable human spirit. And with that, Part 1 came to a close. The arena waited for the next move, for the next demonstration of human brilliance. The crowd held its breath as the three alien fighters slowly rose to their feet. Their eyes, sharp and wide, now burned with anger and disbelief. They had underestimated a human, and that mistake had cost them their pride. Arya Kellen stood at the center of the arena, calm and ready. Sweat dripped down her forehead, but her body was steady. Her breathing was controlled, her mind sharp. She was small compared to her opponents, but she had learned long ago that humans could use speed, intelligence, and strategy to defeat larger enemies. The first alien, the gray four-armed one, growled low. "You are lucky, human. Next time, you will fall." It lunged again, this time moving more carefully. Its four arms swiped in a coordinated strike. Arya watched carefully. She had trained for this moment, but she still had to trust her instincts. As the alien's arms swung, she moved with a grace that was almost too fast for the eye to follow. She rolled to the side, using her opponent's momentum against him. With a small twist and a tap to his elbow joint, the alien staggered and fell forward onto the sand. A small cloud of dust rose, and the crowd gasped. The second alien, the tall, scaly one, hissed angrily. Its long legs and sharp claws made it a dangerous foe. It circled her slowly, looking for an opening. Arya knew she could not fight it head-on. Humans were not the strongest, but they were clever. When the alien lunged, snapping its teeth, she waited. Timing was everything. Just before the strike hit, she moved under its arm, rolled, and swept one of its legs. The alien lost balance and crashed to the ground. A cheer erupted from the human section of the crowd, while others shouted in disbelief. The third opponent, the muscular biped with claws and a tail, now advanced carefully. Its tail swung like a whip, and its claws scraped the sand. Arya measured her distance. One false move, and she could be hurt. But humans were adaptable. She used the same principle as before. Energy and strength could be countered with speed and cleverness. As the alien lunged again, she sidestepped, grabbed a loose piece of metal from the arena floor, and tapped its shoulder. It distracted the alien for a moment, enough for Arya to roll behind it and strike a pressure point on its leg. The alien froze, then fell forward with a thud. The crowd was now in chaos. Spectators from multiple planets shouted, waved their arms, and covered their mouths. None had expected a human to perform like this. Every move Arya made seemed effortless, yet it required incredible focus and skill. She could feel her heart pounding, but she kept calm. Humans had something the others didn't, an unyielding spirit. Every strike was precise, every movement calculated. She was not just reacting, she was predicting. She was using her mind as much as her body. The gray, four-armed alien tried again, rising and swinging its limbs in a wide attack. Arya ducked and rolled, narrowly avoiding the strikes. She pushed herself off the sand, ran toward a wall, and used it to jump over the alien. Her momentum carried her forward, and she delivered a quick strike to its back. The alien stumbled again, frustrated and confused. The tall, scaly alien lunged with both claws extended. Arya ducked low, slid under its attack, and twisted its leg with her hands. The alien lost balance, flailed, and fell hard. The crowd erupted. "Humans are amazing," shouted one spectator. "How is she doing this?" asked another. The muscular biped advanced with its claws raised high. Arya waited. This alien was powerful, strong, and fast. But she had seen patterns. Every strike, every swing, repeated a small flaw. Humans were fighters who could think ahead, and she had noticed. When it lunged, she moved with a combination of speed and precision. She sidestepped, grabbed its arm, twisted just enough to off-balance it, and pushed. The alien fell, stunned. Arya stood over it, chest heaving, sweat dripping, yet fully in control. The announcer's voice echoed through the arena. "Incredible! The human, she is unstoppable. She fights without weapons like no other species." Arya did not stop. She circled slowly, watching her opponents. They were trying to recover, but they were already shaken. Humans were underestimated. And now, the galaxy was starting to notice. A few spectators whispered, "Perhaps humans are not as weak as we thought." Others nodded, wide-eyed. The aliens were angry, but they could not deny what they had seen. Arya moved like water, flowing with the attacks, striking only when there was an opening. The four-armed alien tried a desperate attack, swinging all limbs at once. Arya jumped over one arm, rolled under another, and used the alien's own momentum to make it stumble. The scaly alien attempted to charge, but she sidestepped and tapped a joint in its leg. The muscular biped swung its claws, but she ducked, spun, and tapped a pressure point near its shoulder. In a matter of seconds, all three aliens were struggling to rise. Arya breathed steadily. She was not hurting them. She was demonstrating skill, intelligence, and control. Humans could win without brute strength or weapons. That was the lesson. Captain Lorne watched proudly. He whispered, "This is what humans do. They adapt. They survive. They overcome." Arya took a small bow toward the crowd, still keeping her eyes on her opponents. The spectators erupted into cheers and applause. Even some of the alien spectators clapped, realizing that humans were not to be dismissed. The announcer added, voice trembling with excitement, "We have witnessed something extraordinary. The human has proven that size and strength are not everything. Intelligence, agility, and courage can defeat even the mightiest opponents." Arya's eyes glinted. This was only the start. The aliens would regroup, but the galaxy had seen what humans could do. She had shown that humans were clever, strong in ways others could not imagine, and fearless in the face of overwhelming odds. As the aliens tried to recover, Arya's mind was already planning the next moves. This fight was a demonstration. A message to all who doubted humans. Never underestimate the ingenuity and spirit of mankind. The arena waited, filled with energy and tension. The humans had made their mark, and the aliens knew that the next part of the demonstration would be even more challenging. But Arya was ready. She was a human. And humans had a way of rising to every challenge. The arena was electric. The crowd roared, voices blending into a wave of excitement. Humans had never been taken seriously in combat by most alien species, but Lieutenant Arya Kellen was changing that perception. Every eye in the arena was on her, and the 3 alien fighters had now regained their footing, though their movements were slower, cautious. Arya's heart beat steadily. She knew the final demonstration had to leave a mark. She was small and unarmed, yet she had the power of human skill, intelligence, and will. That was more than enough. The gray, 4-armed alien lunged first, its arms swinging in a desperate attempt to regain control. Arya ducked under the first 2 arms, rolling across the sand with grace. As she came up, she used the alien's momentum against it, twisting its joints in precise spots. It stumbled, fell forward, and could not rise immediately. The scaly, tall alien roared and charged with its claws wide open. Arya waited, watching carefully. Timing was everything. She sidestepped, letting it rush past her, and used a quick spinning kick to tap its knee joint. The alien staggered and fell onto the ground, its tail thrashing in frustration. The muscular biped with long claws advanced slowly. It had learned from the first attempts, moving carefully, watching every step of Arya's. But humans were unpredictable. Arya noticed its pattern. It favored strength over speed. She used that. When it lunged, she moved like water, sidestepping, ducking, and rolling in one smooth motion. She tapped a pressure point on its arm, causing it to freeze mid-motion. Then, using its own momentum, she guided it toward the ground. The alien crashed down with a loud thud. For a moment, the arena was silent. 3 enormous fighters had been neutralized by 1 human. The crowd erupted, cheering, shouting, and applause echoed everywhere. Spectators from different planets were on their feet, their jaws open in disbelief. Humans were always underestimated, but now no one could ignore their potential. Arya breathed steadily, her body tense but controlled. She did not gloat or show arrogance. She understood that every victory carried responsibility. Humans were proving their worth not through weapons, but through skill, intelligence, and courage. The announcer's voice trembled with excitement. Incredible. The human has defeated 3 alien champions without a single weapon. This has never been seen before in the galaxy. The gray, 4-armed alien tried to rise, shaking and struggling. But Arya moved closer, calm and steady. She did not strike, it was unnecessary. Her presence alone, her controlled stance, was enough to show dominance. The alien realized it had been outmatched. It sank back, breathing heavily, and accepted the outcome. The scaly alien followed, hissing but no longer attacking. Arya's agility and precision had left it in awe. Even the muscular biped, breathing hard, lowered its claws, no longer attempting a fight. Humans had a strength that went beyond muscle, and it was clear now. Arya stood tall in the center of the arena. Sweat dripped from her brow, and her chest rose and fell with controlled breaths. She looked around at the crowd. Eyes from dozens of species were fixed on her. The humans among them cheered loudly, proud of what one of their own had achieved. Captain Lorne stepped forward slightly, clapping quietly. "This is what I trained her for," he whispered to himself. "Humans can survive, adapt, and triumph in ways others cannot imagine." Arya turned her gaze to the crowd and spoke, her voice strong and clear. Humans may not be the largest, or the strongest, or the fastest, but we have something no weapon can give us: intelligence, courage, and the will to overcome any challenge. Never underestimate humanity. The arena exploded with applause. Even the alien spectators, who had doubted humans from the start, now nodded in respect. Whispers spread quickly. These humans, they are clever beyond belief. They survive where others fail. The announcer's voice carried across the arena once more. Let this be a lesson to all species. The human has shown us that size and strength are not the only measures of power. Intelligence, agility, and courage can triumph over the mightiest foes. Arya smiled faintly, feeling both pride and calm. This was more than a fight. This was proof that humans had a place in the galaxy that no one could ignore. They were clever, adaptable, and fearless. The three aliens now stood silently. There was no anger left, only respect. They realized humans could not be judged by appearances or assumptions. A single human had bested them without weapons, without armor, without brute force. Only skill, strategy, and determination had carried the day. The crowd slowly began to quiet, but excitement still hummed in the air. Arya's mind already considered what came next. Humans had made their mark, but there were other challenges ahead. Other species, other battles, and other tests of ingenuity and courage. As Arya left the arena, the crowd's cheers followed her. Her footsteps were steady, confident, and light. She had shown what humans could do, and she had done it without cruelty or unnecessary violence. The lesson was clear. Humans could fight, survive, and triumph even in situations where they were underestimated or outmatched. In the stands, Captain Lorne smiled proudly. She did it, he said softly. She proved the human spirit can overcome anything. Arya looked back one last time at the arena, her mind already planning, already imagining. The galaxy had seen a demonstration today, but this was only the beginning. Humans had strength beyond measure, not in weapons or brute force, but in intelligence, courage, and resilience. And with that, Arya Kellen stepped into the future, leaving a lasting impression that would echo across the stars. A human had shown that even the smallest, seemingly weakest species could rise above, overcome impossible odds, and triumph where others had failed. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again,